Okay, so yesterday we talked about how to write inequalities. Today we're going to talk about how to graph them. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to be creating a representation on a number line of what your inequality represents. Okay? There are two types of circles that we're going to use when we graph an inequality, and that's an open circle and closed circle. What do you think would be the difference between an open and closed circle?
One is closed and one's open.
Well, think about the signs we used yesterday. Like, what do you think we would be?
One's filled in, one isn't.
Well, it is, but why would you fill it in?
Because it's whole.
It could be.
Say it again?
To show that it could be equal.
Exactly. Okay? So if we have an open circle, that basically means it does not include that number. So we're going to use an open circle for less than and greater than. So an open circle does not include that number. A closed circle does, so we're going to use a closed circle for less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. So that identifies the number that's in our inequality, and then we've got to determine which direction on our number line we're going to shade, and we're going to do that by the signs we're using. What sign do you think we would shade to the right on a number line for? Think about it. Think about it. Greater than, because what's on the right of the number line? Everything that is greater than. And look what happens. If I have a number line, and it's going this direction, and we have our arrow at the end that shows that number line continues, look at that arrow, and look at your greater than sign. This is the direction you're going to shade. It's to the right. It is the same. So we're going to shade to the left for less than, and look what happens here. It shows you the direction that you're going to shade.
I never knew I did that.
Okay? So let's try one together. Okay? So we have C is greater than 16. I'm going to start with a number line. As long as you do a few numbers before and a few numbers after. So we would have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Just a couple before and a couple after. Now, by what we just talked about, am I going to have an open circle or a closed circle?
Open.
Open, because it's greater than. It does not include number 16. It starts there, but it is not equal to 16. So we have an open circle on 16. Then which direction do we shade in?
That one.
Which is to the
Greater.
right. The direction that your arrow is pointing. I also want to shade in my arrow at the end because I want to make sure they know that that number line will continue. So this means the solution for this inequality could be anything greater than 16. Could it be 17? Yes. 18? Yes. Could it be anything less? No. Now, the opposite of that, and it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that they're negative numbers, although if we do have a negative number, we need to be careful to write them in the correct order. So if we had 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Remember, once we hit 0 and go to the left, our numbers go in backwards order.
Yeah.
The more negative they are, the smaller the number.
Yeah.
So, looking at this, will I have an open or closed circle? Closed. Why is it closed?
It goes that way.
Well, no, it's
It
closed.
has
Oh,
a
because it's that
less than equal to.
less.
It has the equal to part, so it can include -3, so it can be equal to -3. And it can also be everything less, which means we're going to shade into the left. Shade everything to the left.
Even my arrow?
Even your arrow, because you want your arrow to continue forever. Yes. It's okay. All right, so let's try another one together. Yesterday we talked a little bit about making sure we start with our variable. So what happens if I have something set up like 15 is less than m? If I want to start with my variable and rewrite this, what does m become? Greater than 15. You got it. It flips it around. So I want you to start with the variable. So m is greater than 15.
So the variable is the letter?
The variable is the letter, and you want to start with that. Okay? So if we were to graph this, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Would I have an open or closed circle?
Open.
Open, because it doesn't have the equal to part on your sign. So open circle, and would I shade into the left or right?
Right.
To the right, because it is everything greater than 15. And your arrow.
So you determine if it's either greater than, or either way it goes to the left or right from the sign?
Yes, ma'am. And the sign kind of gives you a hint because it's going to point the direction you're supposed to shade in. Yeah. Okay? Let's look at the next one. We've got negative 21 is greater than or equal to y. So if we put our variable first, we would say y is what?
Less than or equal to the negative 21.
Yes, less than or equal to negative 21. So drawing our line, let's do negative 23, negative 22, negative 21, negative 20, negative 19. And again, when you do your number line, just a couple of numbers before and a couple of numbers after is plenty. Okay, we'll have an open or closed circle. Closed, because that line, it also includes negative 21.
Does that mean we color in our circle?
You color in your circle. Okay, do I shade into the left or right?
Left.
Okay, because it is,
Pointing that way.
well, it's pointing that way, but it's also less than.
Wait, so you did, what if you did like more numbers? So you determine
That's fine.
You determine if the circle is closed and open. So everything's because of the sign, right?
Everything's because of the sign. The sign will tell you if it's open or closed. If you have the equal to line under it, it will be closed. If you don't, it's open. And then, yes, you shade left or right based on that sign.
Okay.
Okay, let's try a couple on the back together. Yes.
This will be on test.
This will be on your test Friday. Yes, with what we just did on our checkpoint, including this.
Okay. But I don't even get to check.
Well, we're going to work on that in a second. Okay, so let's look at number 1 on the back. So we have A is less than 8. Do you have an open or closed circle? Open. Let's try that again. Do you have an open or closed circle? Open. Because it is not equal to. So open circle on 8. Which direction do I shade?
Left.
Left. And make sure you include your arrow that shows it goes on forever. It means everything less than 8 could be a solution for A. Okay, number 2, open or closed circle? Closed. Because it has the equal to line underneath it. So closed circle. Do I shade into the left or right?
Left.
And it's everything less than 4 and including 4.
Yeah. I like coloring.
Alright, and last one let's do together. B is greater than or equal to 11. Is it open or closed?
Closed.
Closed. Which way do I shade in?
Right.
To the right. Alright, are there any other questions about how you graph your inequalities? Okay? Fantastic. I'm going to let you continue working on that. I'm going to be calling people up to finish up checkpoints.